thank Theo Akai, who's been sharing in his gift here. It's just great. And it's perfect because he's up here creating beauty in music, and we're going into the last talk with Logan Miller. And Logan's going to be talking about creating beauty. And Logan is a filmmaker, also is part of, he's also a musical artist, and he created a film in 2020 called The Love Undivided, and having some incredible conversations here in Evansville, and we wanted to take those even beyond. He also co-produced a film with For Evansville, and we actually have you can actually check that out on the landing page that Jonathan talked about a little bit earlier. It'll be forevansville.org/next steps. You can find that film and check it out, but I want you guys to welcome Logan Miller to the stage.
Well, what's going on, everybody? How are we doing tonight? Okay, so you're going to learn this about me. I'm the type of person where I like engagement. And so, I might be talking, I'm not talking at you, I'm talking with you. So I'm going to try it again. How are we doing tonight? There we go. That's the type of excitement that we need in this building tonight, because I have ADHD and I'm going crazy right now in my mind. I'm so excited to be here. If you didn't already know, my name is Logan Miller. I am a small business owner here in Evansville of Chris Films. I produce independent films, everything from wedding films, music videos, documentaries, any type of video production that you need. I'm also a singer and a songwriter. And more than anything, I'm passionate about telling stories that lead people to hope, to love, and to unity. And my hope tonight is that we all walk away with the understanding that we all have something that we bring to the table here in Evansville, that we all have something that we can contribute to make a difference in the spaces that we operate in, and to make a difference for our city, to help change the culture and build a better future for our city. But real quick, before we get into all of that, real quick, who has a hobby in the room? Anybody have any fun hobbies in this room? That is depressing. There should be a lot more hands. Don't lie. Who likes to sew? Anybody like to sew? Or what's that word? Crochet. We got some people who like to knit. How about cook? Anybody love to cook? We got some Chef Boyardees up in here. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna be honest, I love to cook. My favorite thing to do now is cooking steak, which my wife hates because it's an expensive hobby. But I love cooking the perfect steak. If you go to my Instagram feed, it's nothing but a bunch of steak videos of how to cook over open fire, yada, yada. She doesn't really turn away the steaks that I cook, and she eats them all. But, she's like, hey, let's chill out maybe on all the steak. But my point is this, is that we all have a hobby. We all have something that we love to do. That's a part of us. And something that I realized about myself very early on in my life is that I'm a creative. I love being able to create something and to tell a story, whether that's from just drawing or a painting to writing poems, writing songs, and even making funny little home videos when I was a kid with my friends in my neighborhood. I just loved to create, and that was a way for me to escape the stress in my life, to escape the traumas that I faced in my life. To let you know a little bit about me, I come from a background of being a troubled kid, someone who often went against authority, somebody who struggled with mental health. I struggled with being able to focus and to pay attention, and oftentimes I found myself feeling like I just didn't belong. Being a biracial kid growing up in North Terre Haute, that's a part of the town where it's primarily white. A lot of my friends didn't really face the same things that I faced. And so art was a way for me to escape that realm, to escape that reality, but to also connect with other people and to connect to them through the art that I was able to create. But it wasn't until after I moved to Evansville, back in 2013, when I gave my life to God, I realized the purpose behind being gifted with creativity. The reason why I was a creative, being a Christian rapper, I quickly learned the influence that I had on the youth in the city, and I realized the impression that I made. And though I worked a normal 9-to-5 job, I found myself gravitating more towards the thing that I loved doing the most, which was writing songs and creating and being able to speak on topics like depression, anxiety, things that are really destroying our youth, mental health, while also being able to relate to the adults and to share songs that led them to unity, that gave them a solution of hope, gave them a solution of peace, and taught them grace. I was able to see the difference I was able to make. And so as a Christian artist, something that, and just as an artist in general, something that it makes you a lot more successful artist is being able to have what's called music videos. And back in 2019, I was really struggling to be able to afford my own music videos. This is what keeps you relevant. This is what makes you exciting for people to watch. And I wasn't able to afford to pay somebody to make my music videos anymore. And so I told myself, you know what? I'm going to invest in myself some more, and I'm going to go ahead and buy a camera. And my wife thought that was a terrible idea. Like, I had friends message me like, yo, you sure, bro, that you should do that? But I was like, I'm going to invest in myself, and I'm going to try to develop this new gift, this new talent, or this tool, really, to steward the creativity that I had. And so I would spend hours watching YouTube videos, figuring out how to learn cinematography, lighting, editing, all the things, right? And through that process, I realized that I love the art of filmmaking. I absolutely fell in love with the art of filmmaking. I learned that through filmmaking, I could tell stories of hope without being restricted to like 2 to 3 minutes in a song, right? I was able to go deeper into the stories that I wanted to share. And the more I started to create videos, the more that people actually started to see that I was a talented filmmaker. And that led to opportunities to work with some amazing small businesses and incredible organizations here in Evansville. Organizations like Holly's House, which is an organization that partners with the Evansville Police Department in providing a safe space for victims of intimate crimes to go and share their story. Small businesses like Soul Juice, that is this fresh new like juice spot that they offer really good and healthy vegan options that I don't really care about all that. I just care about how it tastes, and it's amazing. I'm telling you, they got these waffles that are so fire, and if I could just have those every morning, it would make me a happier dude. But being able to work with people like that to showcase health and wellness, but also bringing more flavor to this city. And they actually started in Bloomington, and because of their success, they're now going to be in a spot here in Evansville in 2022. And it's really exciting to see that. I've been able to do a lot and to work a lot, but the thing that I'm most proud of, the thing that I'm most passionate about is my independent film that I was able to do called Love Undivided. And Love Undivided is a docu-film that dives deeper into the conversation of racial reconciliation. It talks a lot about social injustice, personal stories of racism, and how we as people, how we as a community, how we as people of different colors, different ages, different backgrounds, how we can come together and live undivided, truly learning how to love our neighbors like we love ourselves. And this film was really born after the incidents of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd specifically. And I remember after that event, seeing and paying attention to how people responded to social injustice right here in Evansville. Seeing how friends, people that I would call close friends, how they responded to the incidents of George Floyd. And I remember feeling so frustrated. And just like anybody who gets mad, I went to Facebook and I started to type out a very long post, which sounds like a good idea, right? Yeah, it sounds like an awful idea. And so I'm about halfway through, and I'm typing it out, and I just feel God tell me, stop. Find a different way. And so as I'm sitting there, I'm outside. It's during the pandemic, so I'm working from home, and I just start thinking about how I can express what's in my heart. God, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff in my heart. How do I express that? And I was reminded that I have this ability to create content, to create videos, to create films. And I thought to myself, I know a lot of people who have experienced injustices in some kind, have experienced racism. I have friends who are well educated on social injustice and reconciliation. And so I thought to myself, I'm going to get as many cameras as I can in a room, sit down and have a conversation and see what it comes to be. And I never thought that Love Undivided would be what it is now, like a fully produced independent film born out of Evansville, Indiana. And to see how we were able to, I appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. To see how everything was able to come together. The location of the filming was done right here in Evansville, where I get my hair cut at. It was a little barber shop right here on the east side. The camera operator, or the director of photography, was a friend of mine who also has his own small business doing wedding films and commercials. And even the music alone, the music that was in the film was produced right here locally in Evansville by a great friend of mine. And the title song to the whole film was written and recorded by an artist right here in Evansville. Everything resourced right here in this city. And what that taught me is that we didn't have to go to some big city for some big production in order to make a change, in order to use our voice to speak out. And it was an amazing thing that with just a camera, a hunger for learning, and a passion to share stories, I was able to not only create this film, but I was able to start a business to provide for my family. I was able to use my voice to speak on things that I was passionate about, things that I care about deeply. And I was able to have a platform to use my gifts and my abilities to reach others. And a big part of my heart is reaching the youth of this city. I care about sharing stories that shed light on many issues that we're facing right here in our city. A society where the divorce rate is well over 50%. I'm passionate about creating wedding films that'll remind couples that even in the hard times, their marriage is worth it. That even in the hardest times, their marriage is worth fighting for. In a culture where racism and social injustice and division is running rampant, I'm passionate to push the conversation of unity and togetherness. I want to see people come together no matter what they look like, how they sound, what their background is. Seeing them come together in togetherness and unity is, I want to see that in the city that I love, the city that I call home. I want to show young kids that you don't have to fit a specific mold in order to be successful, in order to flourish, and even more importantly, in order to share your gifts and add value to the city that you live in. You don't have to be a certain type of person in order to strive and to succeed. That no matter what your background is, that you are important and you bring value to this city. I've been really blessed to see what my work has done. And though to me it still seems small, I'm able to see a huge fruit come from it. Yeah, I had a married couple, newlyweds, that came to me about a month after their wedding, and they said, "Hey, I don't know where you're at in the editing process, but don't worry about finishing our wedding film because I honestly don't know if our marriage is going to make it through the end of the month." And it gave me an opportunity to not only pray for that person, but the motivation to finish their wedding film early with extreme intentionality, all the way down to the details of the song, the lyrics, to remind them of how important their marriage is. And I don't know if it was my wedding film that did it, but I can say very excitingly that they are still together today, that they are going through therapy, that they are working through on their marriage. And that could have nothing to do with the video that I produced, but my hope is that maybe a little bit it encouraged them to see their love through the lens and the perspective of somebody they didn't even know. Because the fun thing about creating art and creating film is that I'm able to capture things in ways that you don't even see them. Because you're so used to your perspective, but when you see a different perspective, it brings it home and it reminds you of what it really is. I've had people reach out to me and tell me that Love Undivided has challenged them to build relationships with people that they never would have originally built relationships with, that it caused them to go outside of the borders and to talk to people that don't look like them, that don't sound like them, while understanding that they have the ability to use their voice to speak out and to speak up for injustice when they see it. And I've had kids reach out to me and tell me that because of my work, that they know what they want to do with their life, that they want to create content, that they want to be a creative that tells stories and to find what they're passionate about and to share that through film. And to know that I'm able to make that difference in somebody's life who maybe if I didn't step up and do what I did, they wouldn't see that they can do it too. Because if somebody like me who comes from the background that I come from can do it, they can do it too. But that's what art does. Being able to create is what brings us together. Art is able to lead us to empathize with others. It leads us to love others. It teaches us about culture. When created, it brings uniqueness to our city. It brings unity. It brings success. And it allows troubled kids like me to find a place where they belong. It allows kids like me to know that they're not worthless, but actually they bring value to the city, to their community. I want to encourage you guys to take a minute and imagine what it looks like. We've heard a lot of good talks tonight about what it looks like I call it each one, teach one, or reach one, teach one. To go out and to find somebody that you can invest in, but not only that, but to invest in the art in this community. There are so many talented creators in the city that have so much talent, but more than that, a desire and a passion. And if we want to see a city that thrives and that flourishes, I think that through art, which is one of the most beautiful languages that we have, to where two people who may even speak a different language can communicate through art, we should be investing in that. We should be pouring into that. We should value that. I want to encourage you to invest in the art around our city, to value it, to create it, to be a part of it, because it has the power to create a better future for ourselves, for the next generation, and for Evansville. I appreciate you guys for taking time to listen to me. I thank you guys. Have a good night.